I didn't think you were going to be here, man. It's all good. Okay. What time we? Okay. Good morning, everyone. This is crazy, this monitor thing, but I think we'll be able to do it again today, Jose, huh? I've never seen anything like this. All right, the Board of County Commissioners allows any person to speak regarding an item on the agenda. The speaker is limited to 3 minutes unless otherwise determined by the chairperson to allow sufficient time for all speakers. Speakers shall refrain from abusive or profane remarks, disruptive outbursts, protests, or other conduct which interferes with the orderly conduct of the meeting. Okay. Horace, will you come up and do the invocation? It wasn't on the agenda, but I'd appreciate it if you do that for us. Please rise.
Father God, we thank you, Lord, for your grace and for your mercy. You've been good to us, and for that, we want to say thank you. We ask that you look on this meeting on this morning. We ask that you look on every commissioner and those that are all that are in authority, that you bless them, give them the wisdom to make the best decision in the best interest of Escambia County's residents. We ask that you look on their families as well and the nation overall. Thank you again for everything you've done for us. And again, we say thank you. In Jesus' great name, we pray, amen and amen.
Amen. Thank you, Horace. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. All right. Was the meeting properly advertised?
Mr. Chairman, this meeting was advertised on June 12, 2025 in the board's weekly meeting schedule in the Pensacola News Journal.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Berry, any items to add to the agenda?
No.
Okay. Commissioner May, anything you want to add to the agenda? Okay. Commissioner Hopperger? No, sir. Okay. Can I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Please vote. Motion passes 4-0. Okay. We have just a few items here. We got a couple speakers on 6-1. Mel Pino, you're up first. Oh. Mel, this is a weird agenda because we normally don't have Commissioner Forum, but yes, I'm sorry. Commissioner Berry, anything for Commissioner Forum?
No, sir.
No.
Really? Man, that's a historical moment. I want everyone to take note.
I don't want to impede on y'all's vacation time since y'all want to have this meeting on a Friday morning.
Commissioner Hopperger.
I'm a little shocked because I feel like I usually have the fewest words, but today I'll have the most. Good morning, fellow commissioners, staff, and residents of Escambia County. As always, we have much to celebrate in our vibrant community. I'm thrilled to share that Pensacola Beach and Perdido Key were recently showcased in the Life on the Water series. This episode highlighted Brady Hell, founder of Ocean Strike Team, a leading advocate for ocean conservation and recreation, along with Visit Pensacola's Darren Schaefer. I encourage everyone to visit my County Commissioner Facebook page to watch this captivating episode and see why our coastal treasures shine so brightly. On Wednesday, my office had the privilege of chairing an event with the Home Builders Association and the Associated Builders and Contractors. A special thanks to Tim Tolbert, Jennifer Hampton, Horace Jones, and Andrew Holmer for their insights on fostering collaborative, responsible development in Escambia County. Their contributions are helping shape a sustainable future for our community. I also want to address the Gateway Project and clarify some critical details following yesterday's press release. We've identified challenges with the current tolling equipment, which is outdated and no longer functions optimally. After the wrong way crash into the Lane 3 in 2024, we learned that the replacement parts for this obsolete technology are unavailable, requiring a $1.2 million investment to upgrade the hardware. Additionally, we all know traffic on the beach can be, well, frankly, awful. To modernize the traffic control system and lay the groundwork for smart traffic solutions, we are allocating $1.5 million to install fiber infrastructure. Finally, emergency access to the beach and improving walkability and bikeability are top priorities. A $2 million investment will provide an emergency lane at the gantry and enhance safety for pedestrians and cyclists. These improvements, totaling $4.7 million, are essential to safety and innovation, but were not clearly communicated before. I take full responsibility for that oversight, and I am excited to share these with you today. Thank you for your continued support as we work together to make Escambia County an even better place to live, work, play, and visit. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Hoffberger. I got a few things. It's been a pretty exciting week, actually, really. So Tuesday, we went out and recognized and the plaque that Chief Harrison, I don't know if he's in the back, but he led for the Warrington Volunteer Fire Department that had served out there for decades, and some of the family members. And that was a really special, emotional moment for the men, and just glad that we honored them out there at the fire department. Then on Wednesday, we had the change of command out at NAS for NETSI, where Admiral Cherico, known as Caesar, was replaced by Admiral Huffman, which I welcome him to Pensacola. He has some experience here and had some good conversations. He just came from Joint Task Force Mariana, which was out in Guam, and had a lot of good stories on that. And then I do want to say something. Yesterday was June 19th, and that's Juneteenth, the end of slavery in 1865. And I participated with Commissioner May and Hassan in the parade yesterday. America's changing for the better, and I'm glad. I wish more people were out there yesterday, honestly, but I think it was a great day for our community, and we need to recognize these things and celebrate them, that we're changing and we're becoming a better community and country. And then I want to thank, many of you won't know this, but we have a new chair coming in the Florida Association of Counties, Michelle Lincoln, and she put me on the Federal Advisory Committee, which I asked for as the co-chair, so I want to thank her publicly for that. And Commissioner Hoffberger, I want to applaud you for pulling the agenda item today. I've been on this board 2.5 years, and as you read and said, there was a lot of negative comments, and once we do some of this stuff, it's very hard to retract it. When you look at the roundabout in Perdido Key that most people call the world's worst roundabout, or Cervantes Road that, you know, when you go down it, you're playing Frogger, even though we didn't have anything to do with that, FDOT. Once those things are done, the public has an opinion on, and it's really, really hard to change it without a very expensive cost to the taxpayers. So I think we have some time to make something better, and I look forward to seeing what we do as a board. And then the last thing I want to say, this has been kind of a special time for me walking in the back door, and I don't know if I should help purchasing or Debbie Bowers or Wes or Mr. Hogan, but that big, huge, beautiful Kohler generator they put out there that can basically power the county, that was the best investment ever, Wes. That was just so beautiful. So thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, if I could, I want to recognize Stephen Hall this morning. Stephen's been slaving away, working hard there in the budget office. We have a balanced budget. He's worked with the Florida Doge office, providing data and information, working with the hospital, MSBUs, and just so many things he's got his hands in and on. And I know he's really put in a lot of hours. And Stephen, I appreciate you. We couldn't do this without you. I want to recognize Lindsay and David Miller in purchasing. Our procurement since October, the value of those procurements are about $140 million worth of projects since October. And that's unheard of here in Escambia County. So I just want to thank y'all for that. And thank all the employees. We cut a ribbon on Massachusetts Avenue the other day. Engineering and Joy and her bunch did a fantastic job there. It's a great project. And just wanted to thank the people this morning. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner May?
Yeah, because you did, I want to thank you for yesterday on Juneteenth. You clearly demonstrated that you're in better physical shape than I am. As I mean, you outdid me for Juneteenth, and so. But I do thank you. But I do want to thank our staff and all the people that showed up. I know Todd Hummels and his group was a part of a Juneteenth celebration and just exposing the library. And so I really appreciate all the people that were there, and so many young people. I know that Hassan and Audrey and Clara and all those were able to help get a ton of young people that came out, as you said. Unfortunately, a hot day and a bad day, and the attendance was probably not what we would have wanted, but it was still a good celebration. And finally, Wes mentioned the Massachusetts sidewalk and drainage program, which was something that we worked on for years. I want to thank Joy Blackman and her staff, Don, Christian, Claire, our road department, and Wes Marino for his leadership on getting that. And thank you publicly, Mr. Chairman, for the kind words that you said about collaboration during your remarks and that ribbon cutting, and to our PIO, to Dave and Kate, and to the entire PIO who were afraid of the rain. Thank them for battling through, and thank them for having some of our young interns out there learning how to put those things together. So it was a good day for the Montclair and Mayfair area on Massachusetts Avenue, and thank you for being there.
Yeah, the principal, Principal Greenberg actually reached out to me and thanked our whole team. I should tell the county that. And that was a group effort by everyone, and it's a huge difference for that road. So I know the folks there appreciate it. So that was nice.
And Mike, I said those remarks, and I'll say it from the mic because we can't talk. A year or so ago, we had people getting killed and shot right there in that area. When we first started talking about putting more cameras and lights, and unfortunately, we had one heckler there, and I think that he realized that he probably was wrong. But you're absolutely right in the infrastructure and how important it is for those kids if they can't get to the park, if they can't get from Mobile Highway to W Street in a safe way or get to that school. It's challenging. So it's very important, and that infrastructure and just that sidewalks for Aries and Diego Circle, where it's probably one of the highest crime areas, has really made a difference. And so we appreciate that and appreciate the staff for continuing to do that with the sidewalks and the lights and the cameras in that Montclair. So we do appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, Board, we have just a few items here and just a couple speakers. We'll go to 6-1, and then Mel Pino, you're up first, and we'll have some discussion.
Thank you, Melissa Pino, 413 Southeast Boblets. Got to say it really quick. Not in this dais, not in this room, not in this community, but racism in general is exponentially growing again in this country, and not just in people's attitudes, but in policy that is inherently racist that's going to take a really long time to rip down. So again, I am not talking about people in this room, and we've got a beautiful community. I was down at the bridge, and it was wonderful and peaceful, but
Mel, you got to talk about TDT.
all right, I'll talk about TDT.
But I appreciate your comments.
I think I didn't even have a chance to read the item bit, and then I realized looking at the agenda this morning that I think that Commissioner Berry and in Commissioner May's district, the playing fields, at long last, we're finally getting those. And we've been here through all the iterations. I mean, you remember when it was going to be, we were going to have these amazing playing fields down on Old Stinky, right? And it has just gone on and on and on with bouncing everywhere and all the politics. And anybody should be so happy to see that project land, and it is well worth the expense. And I am here to ask you guys to pay even more. Because if you need to, if it's not built into that, I spoke with Michael Rhodes a little bit about this, before it came at this moment, and didn't want to make a big stink about it because it is such a celebratory moment. Please have money built in for non-PFAS fields. If you guys are not aware of how cancer-causing those chemicals are and how serious it is, that's not your fault, because those companies have done everything to bury it. I mean, my God, DuPont was still selling Teflon pans when it was in court that they knew that they were poisoning people with them and giving them cancers. And the later gens of these chemicals are in a lot of this playing material. And I do not agree with Councilwoman Breyer that that it doesn't fall under TDT and that it's not going to help with tourism or any of that. But I do adamantly agree with her, and also Councilman and Ms. Hoffberger's fellow TDT member, Councilman Baer. It was late breaking to him, and there is yet another lawsuit, and I'm blanking now. Is it against the city or ECUA or the county or all of them or Santa Rosa? But another one just broke. So it's not just that you're going to protect our kids from cancer. Forever Chemicals, it sounds great, right? It doesn't mean BFFs. It means you're going to have cancer-causing molecules in your body forever from playing on those fields if these chemicals have them. So please protect our kids, and let's have even more of a win on that great project. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just for clarification, these fields exist and we're paying to AstroTurf them, correct? Okay.
Okay, thank you. There's no further speakers, but if the board will entertain me, I'd like to have just a few minute discussion. Sure. If you don't mind. Or Commissioner Berry, your light's on first. Were you going to make a motion? Well, I'm not going to hold this project up, but I wanted to have maybe Ray or Mike come up and clarify. I think we all got beat up this week on the cost, and I wanted to tell, do you guys mind coming up just for a second? I warned them in advance. I know Andrew McKay had reached out and had some different studies. I went back. I just wanted them to clarify what they thought was the ROI. And
I think negative feedback has been pretty minimal.
yeah, I agree.
He may
I agree.
have a platform on a radio station, but it's still, I mean, it's been.
I
pretty
agree with you,
minimal.
Steve. I do. So Mike or Ray, just for the record, we can put that out there because, and I'll tell you this up front, parks are subsidized in general because we use it out of tax dollars. We don't get much back from them other than the community gets to have them and play. So we subsidize parks all the way. So if we could make a little money off this park, that'd be something different. So Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll be short. In reference to Ms. Pino's concerns and thoughts, and I appreciate them a lot, we are definitely taking in all those thoughts into our procurement where we're drafting a nice scope, and it'll have all the safety standards to protect us, the county, and all the folks playing out there. Again, it is a concern, but again, it's being approached from a procurement standpoint in our drafting of the scope to have all safety standards, high safety standards in this to make sure that we're that's being taken care of on the front end and we're not chasing it from the back end. In terms of return on investment, if you're out and about in the next day or two, ride by NEP Ballpark, John R. Jones. We got 60, 70 teams playing right now. And the tags are from Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Georgia. And they spent Wednesday night, probably 500 kids down at the Wahoo Stadium out and about. The challenge is, if you've noticed, we've had rainstorms for the last 2 or 3 days in the afternoon, and I've had guys working until 11 or midnight trying to prep the fields for the next morning with what they call diamond dry field prep granulars, trying to get ready for the next day. So that goes away with artificial turf, and people are playing 20 or 30 minutes as long as it's not lightning. Those are the benefits that you have when you have the turf, artificial turf. You're playing 20 or 30 minutes later, and people aren't in rain delays for 2 or 3 hours while gentlemen or ladies are trying to fix the fields with clay, dragging the fields, and so forth. So there's a huge advantage. I'm experiencing it this week with staffing and materials and so forth. And the return on the investment, again, 50 or 60 teams, we're looking at just for one 3 or 4 day tournament, somewhere in the range of $700,000 to $800,000 just on one event for a 3 or 4 day event. And again, that's an example of the return on investment. These numbers come from the experts in the industry in our area, Pensacola Sports, which if Ray wants to touch on where they got the numbers, I know part of it is Florida Sports Foundation produces these numbers, and some folks that Ray relies on to get the numbers. But again, these weren't dreamt up numbers, return on investment. I'm just giving you a short snapshot of what a 3 or 4 day event will look like that's happening out at John R. Jones right now. But that type of event could grow into 80 to 100 teams overnight, just with being able to market, having turf and so forth, and the challenges of being able to keep the games going so people are out in the community in the evenings getting dinners and spending money instead of waiting on a rain delay. Those are some of the small wins, and if Ray's got anything.
Thanks, Mike. And I think it's important that the citizens know when we spend this kind of money that we did a good ROI, and I support the project, but I just, before we voted on this, I wanted a little more
Mr. Chairman.
discussion. Yes.
Mike, so it's pretty clear that we're going to maintain these fields, and we're going to be the ones that operate these fields, correct?
Yes, sir.
I mean, because this is a huge investment that I don't think a parent organization has the capability.
We're going to have a whole lot of hands-on and scheduling and running, and that'll involve.
The renting of the fields would come through the county and
That's
not
right.
through the association.
Correct.
Correct.
Yep. Yes, sir.
And the maintenance and the scheduling, and it would not just be for kids who are a part of NEP. It's for all people, all kids, all organizations would have the same opportunity of usage for that. If if Chris Jones wanted to rent it from Raymond Riddle, he could rent the field and have a tournament.
Absolutely, and I look forward to those opportunities, and I'm having to stall those phone calls that are already coming in, to be honest with you, whether it be camps for 3 or 4 days or various tournament organizers that are already reaching out wanting to know. And again, we're not to that point yet, but those calls are starting to come in.
No, I know it's not information. I just want to be, manage expectations of the operations of how this is going to be utilized, particularly in tournaments.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And Mike, realistically, we're shooting for late next year. I mean, we won't be up and running for next summer. I know there were a lot of calls about the tournaments next summer, but
No, I don't think I think
not realistic.
2027 is a safe bet. And there will be a lot of construction and dirt moving in 2026.
right. But the rec season and all that will be able to proceed as.
That's part of our planning and being strategic about this, is that where NEP doesn't lose a spring season.
Right.
And so there's ways to do that. We know how long it takes once they start a pod. And in addition, making sure Inslee football doesn't lose, because they're going to get the turf football field as well. It's making sure that planning goes where each pod at that facility, that the rec program doesn't lose a respective season.
And
And then
they
we
may-
have that ability to do that.
They may be able to play football and lacrosse next fall.
Oh,
In
yeah.
the fall of 26, we think on,
Probably not on turf.
still not? Okay.
But
Spring of 27 is the, okay.
that's what we're looking at.
Awesome.
Mike, we're not rearranging any lights. It's just all turf.
No, sir, and the county has put several $1 million into upgrading the light system already out there, but there will not be, that's part of the project is the scoping out, is we won't be relocating lights.
Okay, Commissioner
If we
Hall.
hadn't
Oh, I'm
put,
sorry. Go ahead, Commissioner Berry.
and this would have been before Commissioner Kohler and Commissioner Hoffberger were on the board, but it wasn't too many years ago, we put $2.3 or $2.5 million into those lights.
It was
which-
2 years ago that
just
put
2 years
LED
ago,
lights
okay,
up.
Yeah, so, I mean, pretty recently, but it makes it got us to the point where we could realistically, put this out now.
Thank you, Commissioner Hopper.
So I just wanted to say thank you for bringing such a good project to the table. I will say I was driving downtown Wednesday afternoon. I was like, where are all these people going? So it's awesome to see that a project in the more northern end of the county is having a community-wide impact. And when we look at spending TDT dollars, that's exactly what we're looking for. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
And Ray, if you want to make a comment, I'd like to, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
go ahead,
Commissioner.
Mike, I'm sorry, I was going to make a motion.
I think Ray wanted to just say something, if you don't mind, Commissioner Berry. And then of course, y'all can motion them.
Ray Palmer, 1000 College Boulevard, Building 24. Love for y'all to come all see our new building if you haven't been there. Pensacola Sports. A couple of things I just want to make comment, just to give you some I hope, confidence in what we have brought forward to you. Pensacola Sports, for the last 25 plus years, has been the sports tourism agency for Escambia County, and we are officially designated as such. We do economic impact reports, and why you don't need to spend. I know Andrew's asking for a full on Haas study, and the reason you don't need to do that, we do literally dozens and dozens of economic impact reports specific to the sports tourism industry that are a third-party formula program that we pay for every year. We analyze every single event that we do, that we fund with your money before we give them any money. And it is done specific. It's done by Destinations International. It's a program. Visit Pensacola has a version. I have a version that's different because mine is youth sports. And I can plug in the youth sport and it spits out numbers. It's a neutral number. We don't tell it what to do, it produces it. So you don't need to spend any more money. We are, and I have a staff member who she eats and sleeps this. She goes to special training every year to make sure that she is completely up to speed on what these numbers should be and the reports that are going to be. So I hope you have confidence in the organization you're already paying to provide you the economic impacts. Other couple of things I'll tell you, beyond data, let me tell you some personal experiences. One is our biggest competition in this industry is 100 miles east of us. Their director is a longtime dear friend. When I first thought this was real, I called him and I said, we're getting ready to do this. And he said, you better, because I can't handle all the business I have. I have so much overflow, Ray, and we need to keep it in Florida. We as a unit for the Florida Sports Foundation, we have a whole 25 of us or so that fight for tourism in the state of Florida, and they want our goal. If we can't put it in our community, we try and keep it in the state of Florida. In addition, on Tuesday, driving to the Tourist Development Tourist Development Council meeting, the business development director, who also is a longtime friend, called me and said, Ray, when are those fields going to be ready? I need to start scheduling. That's the perfect game. Look up perfect game and you'll understand. Probably the top 3 most powerful youth baseball organizations. Ask any of your friends if they have kids that play baseball. Have their kids done a perfect game training or event yet? And they'll say, gosh, that's what we dream of. Am I right, Michael Rhodes? His son does perfect game. That's how good he is. But anyway, so it's about personal relationships and what we know. And he specifically said, can I start scheduling 2027, do you think? I said, give me a few more days, and I think I'll be able to tell you for sure. And lastly, I'm just going to cover one other thing. So I have the complete guide to youth sports safety, expert insight from Cedars-Sinai's Chief of Sports Medicine. You know what's fascinating about this? You know what's not in this report? Artificial turf. It's not an issue, apparently, because every community in the country that is building sports facilities, if they're doing outdoor, they're doing artificial turf. The products can be safe. Michael knows that. He's not going to put his children, he put my grandchildren. I got 7 of those suckers, and I don't want them on unsafe turf. They are my world. Believe me, this is a great project.
Thanks, Ray.
Ray.
Yeah, I do think it's a great project. Oh, Commissioner May, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Right, your 7 grandkids will probably be on the All-Star. Rose he doesn't let his kid make the
I got some can't even chew gum and walk, buddy.
But in all seriousness, Ray, a couple questions. Have you done the economic impact analysis of what's the ROI on this investment in projections?
Yes, sir, we did do it. I don't know it off. Laura had knee surgery day before yesterday. She's my expert and staff, and this is what she lives and breathes. Yes, we did, and it's very solid. And I think that was all provided in the original presentation. Again, this was not a Pensacola Sports Ask. We are the experts that you pay to tell you, is this a good thing or is it not a good thing? And I don't think I know we wouldn't have gone forward. The world is telling us sports tourism is the way to go.
Well, you and I served on your board
we believe
15
that.
years ago. We know that.
Absolutely.
I mean, I live, eat, and breathe youth sports. I think it's
maybe
not
the
just the
most-
economic impact, but there are so many other impacts of having young people to play sports.
Yeah, absolutely.
But next thing, it really doesn't pertain to this, and I'm all excited about these parks, and appreciate Commissioner Berry bringing it forth. But the Sports Center, are we still moving forward, since you're the expert, on the multi-court use facility? Is there still ongoing discussion from you with our staff about making that happen?
Yes, sir. Well, we have been invited to meetings with the Pensacola Bay Centers organization and their group that they put together, and been asked for input to that. And absolutely, we are all in, telling them this is what a minimum of what we need to get us our 8 basketball courts, 16 volleyball courts, and however many 25 or 30 pickleball courts that you can put in a open multi-use space with 75,000 or so column-free space. Yes, sir. That's part of the ultimate,
and I know you've worked on it for years.
ultimate dream.
I just hope that it come forward. I mean, the phenomenal growth that's occurring on indoor sports as well as outdoor sports for youth, whether it's youth lacrosse, or whether it's youth pickleball, or whether it's indoor soccer, or whether it's basketball. And I mean, obviously cheerleading is crazy, and indoor track. And so I hope that, we can get that moving before all of us expire to get that indoor facility kind of going, right?
You and me both. And I was at a Florida Sports Foundation annual summit 2 weeks ago, and we had multiple rights holders in both baseball and outdoor and indoor venues. And people want to come to Pensacola, but they can't come if you don't have the venues.
I don't believe people want to go to Foley more than they want to come to Pensacola.
Absolutely, they don't. And we could have filled this room with hundreds of kids that are going to Foley every day to play baseball and soccer and volleyball and basketball, all of them. And, even though it's, we're now hopefully keeping them home with this kind of investment, we're also keeping their money home when we can do that.
Absolutely. I'm tired of traveling to Foley. So, Ray, you'll have all my support if you can bring that forward.
Thank you, Ray. I appreciate
know,
your
Ray.
comments. And, I think this is a good project. I appreciate the discussion. When you spend $25 million, I think the citizens want to know that we're in due diligence. So this is a good project. I look forward to it for both Commissioner Berry and Commissioner May. I know you guys, it marries up your district, so when you do the ribbon cutting, I'll be behind you, rubbing your backs. But
I connect to you more than any other commissioner, man.
well, you make the motion, or Commissioner Berry, so we can move on.
Mr. Chairman, I move item 1, and that's going to be A through D.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, please vote. Motion passes 4-0. Thank you. We have one speaker for 6-2, Rachel Rexford. If you want to speak, would you like to come up and talk?
Mr. Chairman, are all the participant hospitals here today Sacred Baptist, Encompass, and West Florida?
It looks like they are to me, yes.
Hi,
I
I'm
don't-
just
I
here
don't see
for
any
questions.
Snacks. They didn't bring any goodies or snacks or anything, but
Wait.
I think I do see them in the back.
All right, go ahead, Rachel.
I'm Rachel Rexford from Atalanta Care Ventures. We represent the hospitals. I'm just here for questions if there's any, but if there aren't any, I just want to thank the county for continuing to support the hospitals through this assessment.
Yeah, I don't have any comments other than thank all the hospitals for what they do. I know this is a pass-through that you get the money, but what you do every day to help our low income in this community can't be thanked enough. And so
Mr. Chairman.
appreciate y'all being here. Yeah,
I'm sorry,
Commissioner
I'll
Barrett,
make the mo-
Commissioner May. Huh? Who was up? Okay, Commissioner.
No, I do want to thank the hospitals. I can say rather, I'm calling Sacred or Baptist or West Florida. They are always receptive. Encompass, can't say enough about them. And during my mother's rehabilitation, well, they were just there, and I've seen the work that they've done. And I think that when we talk about economic development, we talk about economic incentives and job creations, our hospitals are critical to our quality of life. So in any way that we can partner with our hospitals to take care of our sick, but also create jobs for our citizens, that it's important. So I'll yield to Commissioner Berry, but I'd be happy to make the motion.
Okay, Commissioner Barrett, any comments?
No, please do.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move to accept the recommendation concerning the amendment rate resolution for fiscal year 2024-2025 statewide medical hospital direct payment program.
Second.
Please vote. Motion passes 4-0. Congratulations to you all, and thank you. That concludes, we have no speakers on 6-3. Do I have a motion to move?
Move the item, Mr. Chairman.
Please vote.
A through C.
Okay. Motion passes 4-0. We're at the county's attorney report.
Commissioners, there are 2 items on the county attorney's report. They are both simply formally scheduling public hearings on your fire rate resolutions for July the 10th.
All right. I move the county attorney's report.
Please vote. Motion passes 4-0. All right, that concludes our meeting. I know most of us will be at FAC next week, and I think our first meeting will be July 10th. So this convenes today. Thank you all.